Hello, everybody. We are kind of switching gears here. Like I said, we're cutting out some of the things I don't think are all that important and really just covering the concepts of high importance here. You can expect about 3 days per section and then a quiz to follow. So about 4 days per mini unit. Now, just so we're all aware, this would be like a day to day and a half in regular class, but I'm extending it out to 4 days. I really want to make sure that we have enough time to cover this and that you are actually understanding it. Okay, so today we are moving on to the Pythagorean theorem. That should be ring some bells at the very least for many of you. For many of you, you can recite it off the top of your head and know how to do it already. That's great. You'll just get some more practice today. You should have out your perfects card as we go through today's notes, like it says right here. The first few blanks, the Pythagorean theorem. We use the Pythagorean theorem to find only side lengths of only right triangles. Again, a right triangle is a triangle that has a 90-degree angle. And again, it's only for side lengths. So we use the Pythagorean theorem for side lengths. We do not use the Pythagorean theorem for angles, only side lengths. Many of you can recite the Pythagorean off the top of your head. It has 3 letters, A, B, and C. I hope that's ringing a bell for some people. It is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Key about this is it doesn't really matter what you pick for your A and B values as long as C is always the hypotenuse. Some of you are like, what the heck's a hypotenuse? Well, a hypotenuse is the side that's across from the right angle. If you see in triangle, I'll call it triangle A right here. I did it in highlighter, whoops. In triangle A, this angle that I'm putting in red right now, that's denoted as the right angle. So the side that's across from it, the one that I highlighted in yellow, that's my C value. In triangle B here, here's my right angle, the one I'm tracing in red right now. If you draw an arrow straight across, that's your C value, that's your hypotenuse. Okay, one other thing to note is that C, or the hypotenuse, is always the longest side. It will always be the longest side. There's no special case or anything. C, your hypotenuse, is always the longest side of the triangle. Okay, we're just going to go through a few examples of this. So number 1, it just says solve for x. It's a right triangle. How do I know it's a right triangle? Because of this right here. So to find a side length, x is a missing side, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The important part is to figure out, hey, which side is your c value? In order to do that, find the right angle, draw a line straight across. That means x is my new c value. So a squared plus b squared equals x squared. Now, it doesn't matter what I pick for a and b. I could put 6 squared plus 8 squared. Those are my other two sides. Or I could put 8 squared plus 6 squared. It doesn't matter. I'm going to leave it as the one I have on top just because I wrote that one down first. But you can do them either way. It doesn't matter. Okay, I said to have out your perfects card. If you don't have your perfects card, use a calculator. That's fine too. Okay, so 6 squared. That's not 6 times 2. That's 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36 plus 8 squared. 8 times 8 is 64 equals x squared. Okay, now you should know that 36 plus 64, or you should have a calculator out to type this in. 36 plus 64, that is 100 equals x squared. Okay, well now the question is, well, how the heck do I get x by itself? How do I get rid of a square? To get rid of a square, we have to take a square root. So we're going to take the square root of x squared, and if we do it to the right side, we got to do it to the left as well. My square root and my square cancel each other out. Those go bye-bye. We are left with x equals the square root of 100. Now, I understand not everyone has a calculator, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to your computer, just go to Google, google.com. And then on the home page, to do a square root on Google, you can do one of two things. You can type in SQRT and then 100. Type that into the search bar, hit equals, hit enters, whatever. When you type that in, you should get the square root of 100 equals 10. Now, another thing, once you do that, a little calculator should pop up. Okay, that little calculator now, what you can do is just treat it like a normal one. To do the square root of 100 on that calculator, you type it, you'd press this button, which is to the left of the 1. That's the radical button. Square root 100, square root 100, hit equals, and you should get 10. Square root 1, oh boy, I screwed up. I gotta clear everything out. Square root 100, hit equals, you get 10. So leave that calculator up on your screen as you're going through all these problems. It's gonna help you out. X is 10 for this problem. Okay, moving along. We are supposed to find x. X is a missing side of a right triangle. Therefore, we can use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Our first step is, hey, we got to figure out what our c value is. To figure out what the c value is, you draw a straight line across from your right angle. So that means my c value, my hypotenuse, is 19. So now I have a squared plus b squared is 19 squared. Again, it doesn't matter if you write x squared plus 5 squared or if you flipped it and wrote 5 squared plus x squared. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Whatever your little heart desires. Okay, we are going to go through and do this together. If you want to pause it right now, that's fine. Otherwise, you can follow along with me and watch me do it now. X squared, we don't know what that is, so it's just x squared plus 5 squared, that's 5 times 5. I hope you know that 5 squared is 25 equals 19 squared. I don't expect you to know that one. I don't know that one. So do 19 squared on the Google calculator. Do you see a squared button? I don't. So what you can do is, well, you know that 19 squared is really 19 times 19. Type in 19 times 19. You can also use your phone calculator. I don't really care. You should get 361. Now our goal is to get x squared by itself. To get x squared by itself, our first step, minus 25, minus 25. 361 minus 25 is 336. We should have x squared equals 336. Now we need to get x by itself. So in order to get x by itself, what we need to do is get rid of this square. To get rid of the square, we need to take the square root of both sides. If we do it to the left, we got to do it to the right. My square root go bye-bye. We're left with x equals the square root of 336. Again, on Google, you can type in into the search bar SQRT of 336, and you will get a number. Or on that calculator, you type in the radical sign, this, and then 336, hit equals. And either way, you should get a number out. You can just round it to one decimal for now. X is going to equal 18.3. Okay, moving along to number 3, which I apparently forgot to do half of, or create half of. Okay, number 3, again, we are trying to find a missing side of a right triangle. It's a side, and it's a right triangle. So we need to use the Pythagorean theorem. If you want to pause the video right now and try the last two on your own, or try this one, and then when I scroll down, try the next one, you might as well do that. Again, what we need to do is figure out what our C value is. So the C value is always across in the right angle. My C value, or my hypotenuse in this case, is 13 squared. Now, A and B, it doesn't matter. We can do 5 squared plus x squared, or we can do x squared plus 5 squared. Doesn't matter. Okay, you should know 5 squared is 25 plus x squared equals 13 squared in your head. Perfect card, calculator, I don't care. 13 times 13. Any way you do it, you should get 169. Okay, again, our goal is to get x squared by itself. To do that, we're going to minus 25, minus 25. when we minus 25 from both sides, we are left with x squared equals 169 minus 25. We should end up with 144. Okay, the next step, we got to get x squared by itself. To get x squared by itself, we need to get rid of the square. To get rid of this square, we take a square root. Those cancel here. We are left with x equals, now the square root of 144. Again, type in on Google, SQRT 144. Then hit equals, or you can do the radical button, 144, or this is one a lot of you may know in your head because it comes out nice. Either way you do it, you should get x equals 12 for the last one. Okay, last up, number 4. And again, I keep forgetting these right angle signs, excuse me, and an x. So we're solving for the missing side, we're solving for x. What we need to do is, first of all, figure out that, hey, this is a right triangle, so it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We got to determine what's my c value. C is always across in the right angle. Okay, so my c value here is x squared. A and b are 8 and 15 respectively, or we could do 15 and 8. I'm going to do 15 squared plus 8 squared this time. Okay, let's figure out what 15 squared is. 15 squared is 15 times 15, or look at your perfects card. Either way, we should get 225 plus 8 squared is not 8 times 2, it's 8 times 8. 8 times 8, perfects card or calculator, whichever way you do it, you should get 64 equals x squared. Okay, 225 plus 64. Well, we should get 2. Now, we can actually do this one in our head because adding the tens place, 2 plus 6, we should get 8. Last up, if we add 5 and 4, we should get 9. 289 equals x squared. Okay, same thing now. We're going to type in on Google SQRT of 289. We're going to hit the radical of 289. Any way you dice it, any way we decide to do this, the square root of 289, this one should come out nice. We get x equals, oops, I got a little ahead of myself. We got to take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. Those cancel. Square root of 289, you should get x equals 17. 17 is your hypotenuse. 17 is your missing side.